One of the most important responsibilities we have is to help manage and organize our executive's inbox. In today's video, I'm going to talk through several ways my executive and I have worked together to manage a very high volume inbox. These three approaches I'm going to speak on are from current and past executives I've supported, and each executive had their own specific way of working their inbox that allowed them to be more effective, more organized, and have the ability to be more present for their specific groups. And if you stay to the end, I'm going to share with you a hot tip. So let's get to the video right after the intro. Hey guys, this is Cherie from The Exceptional Assistant, and my channel is all about the day-to-day responsibilities and scenarios of the professional assistant. So whether you're an executive assistant today, looking for new tips and tricks, or you're new to the administrative role, this channel will be a great source of information for you. I've worked for executive level leaders within the largest corporations in America, from the gaming industry, the banking industry, and the movie entertainment industry. I've had some of the greatest executive mentors throughout the years, and this is my platform to share what I know. Now let's get to the video. The first thing I'll tell you before jumping into any method of organizing your executive emails is you first have to understand and familiarize yourself with your executive's inbox. And the only real way to identify what's important to your executive and how they want to manage their inbox is by having an ongoing one-on-one. And through this method, do you learn the best strategic way. Once that's determined, you and your executive can align yourself to manage their inbox and your role in it. So let me begin with the leader that I supported that always had their inbox empty, and that's because they follow the inbox zero approach. My executive read and responded to emails that were coming through, and if the email needed to be saved, my executive would glide them into a specific folder if there was some type of action that needed to happen. And if not, they were deleted. This executive also had a folder for any follow-up emails that were sent to his direct reports and business partners. And I was always copied on each email to make sure that my executive received the information that they were waiting for by the date that they were given. This was my working piece and my responsibility to ensure that the deadlines were met. My executive always sent a copy to themselves and then moved those emails into the folder. In addition, any emails that came in where they needed to provide some type of working piece or information, but they had a little bit of wiggle room with time, the executive would send those to me so I can drop them in their calendar so when they had some availability, they can read them more carefully. The great thing about this one leader is that he understood that not every email needs a response because some emails are informational only. With my executive following the inbox zero approach, what did this mean for me? How did I manage an inbox with such an aggressive approach? The great thing, as I mentioned before, my executive normally copied me on all the outbound emails, so I was always in the loop of what he was working on, what they were waiting for, and their responses to follow-up emails. And my executive was really great at shooting out tons of administrative emails so I could handle on his behalf. So this approach worked really great for us, and it really aligned us both to manage my executive's inbox successfully. I also worked with an executive where we tried a couple of different methods to control their inbox volume, and we found one that worked for them. And that was to have the executive work offline, and what that meant was that they were going to pause their emails from coming in. And this gave the executive the opportunity to work offline for a couple of hours periodically throughout the day. And the reason they did this was to give themselves time to catch up and focus on important tasks. And once they were caught up, my executive would work online again, and that released the emails that were waiting to drop in their inbox. I love this approach that my executive decided to take because they understood what worked for them, and this executive found a way where they could be highly effective with their time. Assisting an executive who handles their inbox in this manner, you'll have email waves of forwarding emails hitting your inbox. So how did I manage this type of executive with their approach? What I did was I created a rule so when my executives started firing emails at me, they all fell into that one folder, and I could see when it began and when it ended. As the emails died down, I then jumped into the folder and started working on those emails. Now that I mentioned rules, I have also set rules for my executive where they want to see emails in one specific place from their executive leadership team. And this works if your executive receives hundreds of emails a day. This eliminates any missed critical communications from their superiors. And you can always create more rules if your executive works closely with their peers in different organizations and they're aligned in a common ongoing initiative. And if you're getting value from this video, hit the like button so I can see that you enjoyed this video and that you took some better practices away. In the past, I've had executives that preferred Outlook folders and subfolders because it's an easy place to store and find emails based on the titles that you give the folder. And this is an easy approach when I'm working inside my executive's inbox because the emails that they've already read, I would move them into their specific folder. The only thing that I caution is your company's archival schedule. I would speak to your IT department to make sure that your executive is not affected by the cleanup process. And their important emails and attachments aren't deleted. This executive gave me full reign of their calendar. I recognized what was junk mail and those were deleted. I moved the administrative requests over to me and I deleted them from my executive's inbox. And all the reading or conference materials that came through, I would send them to myself for my one-on-one with my executive, to determine if the reading material is actually something they need to read or if it should be forwarded to one of their direct reports. And the conference material, the reason why I send those to myself is because there's so much more involved that surrounds the material that my executive and I need to talk through. For instance, if the conference is a 3-day event, are they participating in all 3 days or are they only participating in 1 or 2 days? We need to talk about flights and I need to register them for the conference event. I need to find out if the hotel is booked by the conference group or if I need to make a reservation for him. And one of the most important items to discuss is if they're going to have a speaking part in the conference. And if so, we need to start working on the PowerPoint presentation and who will be supplying the slides for the deck. And as promised, I'm not sure how many assistants know that you can change your settings in Outlook so when you're reading your executive's emails, they don't show as being read. If you have your reading panes on, this works beautifully because there's no need to open the entire email. Unless there's an attachment, then you'll have to open up the email and it'll show as being read, but you can go back and mark it as unread. And I'm going to post the instructions on how to do this on the screen for anyone who didn't know about this function. So the way that you set these settings is by going to File, then Options, then Mail, Outlook panes, and then click on Reading panes. And uncheck the box where you see Mark Items Read when selection changes, and there you go, easy as that. So those were my 3 working methods to help manage and organize your executive's inbox. It's a good idea to present your executive with a new way of doing something because sometimes our executives are stuck doing things the old way. Thanks everybody for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. I'll see you soon. Take care.